Hoy amanecimos rica,
sabrosa,
deliciosa, porque puedo, yo puedo, me lo merezco, sí, tengo la personalidad, la tengo, y hago con ella lo que quiera. Hoy sí, qué rico, sabroso, delicioso.
Who would have thought we're DJs, bro?
Puedo, me lo merezco, sí, tengo la personalidad, la tengo, la tengo. Me siento rica, me siento chupable, me siento mamá.
Oh my goodness!
All right,
That
all
went
right.
from like
Here we
super
go.
vibing to like rated R.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my God,
welcome.
bienvenidos a todos los que tienen personalidad. Saludos. Estamos súper mega contentísimas de estar en un episodio más de No Pues Guau.
No, pues.
And today we have a very special guest, Christopher Ortiz.
Himself in the-
Ortiz, porque es mexicano.
Ahí está,
Ortiz.
ahí
Es
está.
Ortiz, no.
Ortiz.
porque
Ortiz,
tiene-
not Ortiz.
No, tiene acento, es Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Yeah, it's not Ortiz, it's Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Yeah, there we go.
Ortiz.
Tell him.
Love me or tease me. Oh, damn. Came out with the first line. Came out with the first punchline.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Love me or tease me.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, we need to open up.
that.
So, quick little disclaimer. Your girl over here didn't press record. So this is shot number 2. We're going to do a little half shot. But of course, like always, we are going to open up nuestro episodio con un brindis. Y estamos súper contentísimos de estar aquí de nuevo.
Mira, el mío se ve super baby en la cámara.
Pero ya nos chingamos uno, no se
Es que
preocupen,
sí,
¿eh?
sí,
Si andamos,
la neta.
ya nos chingamos uno, no se
Sí.
preocupen.
Ahí está. Ahí
Ahí
está.
está.
Salud.
Salud.
And una bebidita de esta, permítanme.
Who do we got in the house?
So today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, actually 21 and older, only please, rated
damn.
R. Today
Nah,
we
if
have
you're young and if you're at home, fuck it.
Chingue su madre.
kidding, just kidding.
Hypothetically speaking, I'm not, breaking the law, but we have today Hen House Brewing Company. I am so in love with this brewing company. I love Hen House, one of my favorites. It's a local here in Sonoma County. There are 2 locations. There's one location in Santa Rosa and another location in Petaluma, California. So if you haven't gone to Hen House Brewing Company, go check it out. Both locations are amazing. And I think they have food trucks too. When they can get food there, they'll have food trucks and they're always local, amazing food. Go check them out. Their art is so beautiful. I think they're, not only is their beer amazing, but their art, their graphics, it's just out of bounds. It really is. They really invest a lot of time and money into their art.
That's
which
awesome.
is beautiful. We love that. So, saludcita.
Salud.
Salud to Hen House. And
Cheers.
Cheers. I wish I really liked beer. I really do. I genuinely want to like beer. Typically, I'm more of hard ciders.
yes, she
So,
is. Yes,
I
she
think
is.
the first time I ever met you at Golden
Golden
State.
Cider.
Yeah,
The
Golden.
bar-
Yep.
Where's that at? In the Barlow.
The Barlow.
Sebastopol.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. We have some hard ciders. I think in particular because of the fact that I didn't like beer, and I think that's why
Yeah.
we met there. But hey, you know what? It's grown into me, so maybe, who knows? One day I'll try it out, and maybe I will like it because you guys are the beer drinkers. You guys know what's good.
Hell yeah.
Go to Hen House, check them out.
Check 'em out.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
I
we
agree.
are, for all the people that are wondering what we're drinking the single hot pale ale with Amarillo. Amarillo by morning. No, amarillo. Para los mexicanos es amarillo. Para los americanos it's
How do you say
Amarillo.
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 Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah,
Amarillo.
Amarillo.
There's a town in
Amarillo.
Texas called Amarillo.
Amarillo
Really?
by
Yeah.
morning.
That's how you pronounce it? Amarillo?
Amarillo, I'm pretty
gotcha,
sure.
gotcha,
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a damn minute. That's how the motherfucking Texans pronounce amarillo. It should be amarillo.
Well,
But it's Amarillo.
It's a town in Texas.
No, it is. No, it genuinely is a town in Texas, but they fucking pronounce Amarillo because these fuckers can't roll their R's and
Oh,
yo.
they can't say amarillo.
Amarillo.
Yeah.
Amarillo.
Como
Amarillo.
J Balvin.
J Balvin.
Amarillo. They can't get that roll out their tongue.
Amarillo.
Well, it's
¿Cómo
actually.
J Balvin qué? ¿Cuál es
Well,
el?
it's because amarillo, it's only one R, so it would be a soft R. Amarillo.
Amarillo.
Yeah.
Amarillo.
Not like perro. Perro. It has
Perro
two
is
Perro
R's.
animal.
I knew I was going to learn something here today.
Unfortunately, you guys, desafortunadamente, yo soy, no sé, la verdad, no sé cómo aprendí a escribir en español, but when I can speak Spanish wonderfully, write Spanish perfectly, except, obviously not perfectly, because I can't fucking do the
Güey, es todas
accents.
las veces que leías la Biblia.
Güey, la neta, eso fue.
Todas las veces que nos sentábamos así a leer la Biblia, la palabra de Dios.
La palabra de Dios, dice. Every time there's a word
Think
dice,
about it.
I always say dice to all my Italian babies out there. I love it. I love Italy. Pero,
The Guidos.
The Guidos.
The Guidos.
Cabs are here.
That's it.
But anyways, yes. So I just don't know accents, bro.
Yeah.
That's a fucking first gen Latinx kind of problem.
Como los acentos.
Los
wait.
acentos. I don't no sé dónde ponerlos.
Well, hey, you know what? Actually, I'm very thankful that Spanish only has like one, because in French they have an accent aigu or accent aigu or whatever, which is like the little house, and then they have the one that goes to the left, the one that have to the right, and then the two little dots.
Shake it to the left. Shake it to the right.
Yeah.
There's like a song. There's a song,
there you
right?
go. Yep. But anyways, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
We really
Yes.
appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
here. And, we're hoping to poke your brain and act
Yes.
on behalf of everybody out there who possibly has some questions. He comes from the real estate. So actually, give us a very, very brief background.
Sure. Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2018. So I am walking
So
in.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Before that,
problem.
he's a realtor.
Yes. Sorry.
So the subject of today's podcast is cómo comprar una pinche casa en Sonoma County y qué necesitan para comprar una casa.
What do you really need at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're
sorry.
gonna get,
And a little more background that Michelle can touch on. Él le vendió la casa a mí. Él fue el realtor que estuvo en este proceso de esta casa. Para que sepan el backstory.
He's the
Now
best of
he
the
can-
best. That's just,
Now he can
It
introduce
is what it
himself.
is.
Proceed.
There we
I'm
go.
so sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
there we go.
I'm going to shut the fuck up because I interrupt a lot. Ew.
There we go. Yeah. So got into real estate in 2018. So I'm pretty much working on my third year here now. Kind of a rough start. I didn't have this grown out. I had the baby face. I walked in when I was
Chiquito bebé.
exactly right. I got that a lot. So I got that when I was 26 years old. I got into the game. Pretty rough start. I didn't have this grown out. I had the baby face kind of grown out. And are you really going to trust somebody who doesn't have a beard to trust your asset of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Right? Okay.
True.
Yeah. That's the
True.
first question. Is
Facts.
how old are you? After that comes how many houses have you sold?
You should have fucking said I'm 35. I have a
Yeah.
fucking hair deficiency problem and I fucking can't grow
I
hair.
should've.
Fuck you
Yeah.
for judging my age, bitch.
Unfortunately, my oath in my career allows I need to be extremely brutally honest.
Is it like HIPAA laws where you have to fucking,
exactly.
brutally honest? Fuck.
Yeah, I know, huh? Yeah. So yeah,
So I feel 35, but I'm actually 26.
it's all about perception, right?
True.
Yeah. So here we are 3 years later.
3 days later.
First year I closed, I think 3 deals my first year.
Wow,
This is my
that's
third
pretty
year.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad for a 26-year-old on their first year. I think.
Hell yeah.
The statistics is your first year, don't expect to make any money whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's what they tell every new agent that comes on
Yep.
board. So yeah, pretty lucky first year.
Yeah.
Again, didn't make any money for my first 7 years, so it was a little tough to start. But once I got a few, sales under my belt, eventually met with you and Christian.
I think you break the ice after that,
Honestly, and this is the total truth here. Ever since I met you and Christian, right during that transition is when I noticed my business taking a big leap in a positive way, in a very
so
positive
awesome.
way, in a
Hell
very
yeah.
positive way. Right after,
Well, you deserve it. You
He
bust
met a
your ass.
umbrella.
yeah,
He met a umbrella, and then all of a sudden, he's thriving.
exactly.
You're
right?
welcome, baby boy. After
Yeah.
everything my family has done for this world.
Yeah,
no.
totally.
I'm just kidding. The good juju. I'm just playing with you.
Totally.
No,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's all your hard work.
Yeah.
No, hell
It
yeah,
it
absolutely.
It took a lot. It took a lot of persistence. Obviously, it took a lot of cold calling. It took a lot of door knocking, just knocking on random people's houses, essentially saying, "Hey, can I sell your house? Or do you have any aspirations to sell your house?" And then eventually, things worked
Yeah.
out. I got their deal closed up. After that, followed another one, and just it's funny because it becomes a domino effect. It's hard to get those first few sales, but once it does happen, even though it takes a lot of time, a lot of, deals with a lot of stress and everything like that, a lot of unknown and a lot of investments. Once it happens, it just becomes a domino effect. And as long as you're confident in your work and what you stand for, I think as long as you're just brutally honest and you just make that known and don't be scripted. Be real, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you guys.
That's one thing I love about Chris is that he is very authentic when it comes to telling you how it is.
I'm not filtered. That's why it's good that we can edit a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. So no, we're not gonna edit. This is raw. We don't give.
I honestly,
we both have full-time jobs. She's got a full-time job.
I love that. We don't have time to edit.
I have a full-time job and a house. And I fucking in a house. I don't fucking know.
if you're actually legitimately, if you're home and you're thinking, wow, like if you go through my previous podcasts or our
don't
podcast,
edit shit, bro.
Like I just be like, okay, bathroom break, cut, okay, we're back. No, but for real though, and yeah, so. We're really, really, really raw.
We're really raw, bitch, because we don't got the time to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but that's.
I gotta hold it together.
And I can actually share, a little bit of, when you're first buying a house, one of the things that you may be coming in a little bit scared. I know that's how I was when I purchased my very first home, right? Mm-hmm. And I came across a realtor, and I just called him my realtor because I'm going to tell you guys the story. I don't think I've ever shared this story with anyone, really.
Love it. Here we go.
So I thought I could buy a house, right? And you can kind of piggyback off me if you need to. But when my very first home, I was 19 years old. Okay, and I was walking into a USAA. I was in El Paso, Texas, and I walked into the military bank because at the time, I had the military benefits. So I thought, oh, well, VA loans, I'm going to walk into a USAA, which they don't have very many branches, requested to speak to a mortgage banker, and I sat down with someone through a camera because they didn't have a mortgage banker. And said,
this is way pre-COVID too.
Oh yeah, this was in
these fuckers had Zoom before 2020.
This was back in 2014, late 2014, early 2015. And I sat down with someone, and then they're like, I mean, do you have money or do you already have a realtor in place? Have you already thought about your budget? Like she just basically gave me a bunch of rundowns, and then I was just like, oh my God, I don't have anything, and it fully discouraged me. Right?
Gotcha.
And I thought maybe instead of buying a house, what I'm going to have to do is rent. So I went to an open house to, look at a house that was renting. And it so happened to be a realtor that was showing the house, an open house which was completely weird. Or actually, it might have been for sale, not for rent. I'm so sorry. I was like, okay, let's do a little bit of what I call dream building. So I showed up. And then I looked inside the house and I was just like, whoa, and some guy was showing it. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, are you guys looking to buy a house? I was like, oh, no. I already spoke to a mortgage banker and they told me that I couldn't. I don't have this and I'm missing this and I don't have blah, blah, blah. I can't remember. So I would be making things up if I didn't, if I told you guys. But anyways, I got in and he said, oh, well, I'm a realtor and actually you don't have to pay me. I represent you. So,
that's fucked up of that one bitch to fucking tell you all of the things that she told you the way that she told them to you because she didn't have a fundamental understanding. People are not educated on mortgage loans.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking simplest shit in the world. And the way that she treated you coming from an outside perspective looking in, I've worked in customer service a long time. So I'm looking in. I don't want to discourage my client. Mm-hmm. In fact, I want to make a fucking sale. So Absolutely. If I want to make a sale, I'm going to be like, okay, there is requirements that you have to meet for you to end up with meeting your goal, right? You want to buy a house. How can we make that happen? Point blank period. She didn't have that in her fucking mind. So maybe it was not a good day. Maybe she was working a lot, but mortgage bankers work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. All right. It's not the fucking service industry. And I just feel like when the realtor that you got, it was kind of like a blessing to tell you, no.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, you're walking into something. Because this whole time I thought that I had to pay the realtor to represent me.
Common misconception.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. So, you don't, you as the purchaser, you don't have to pay the realtor to represent you. And I thought, I thought that I needed a realtor, and secondly, I thought that I needed to pay someone to represent me out of pocket, and that it was just
Like
going to
a
be
lawyer.
Almost like a lawyer. Yeah.
Exactly.
That is the common misconception in this industry, for sure.
And so I thought, oh, okay, so that's going to be the case. And he explained to us that was not the case. That same day, I met him, and shout out to Joe if you're watching this in El Paso. You did it for us. I met him that same day. I met him that same day. And then, hey, you know what? He told me, oh, there's some new houses being built and da-da-da-da. That same night, I found my house. I put what they call the earnest money down, and then I purchased my house.
It's called the EMD. Earnest money deposit.
So what does that mean? Can you explain that?
Yeah. So great question. EMD, otherwise known as an earnest money deposit. So when you make an offer on a house, that's typically within 3 business days, you commit to that. Almost like a security deposit if you go to rent like an apartment, right?
But you don't need a pre-qualification for that.
You need a pre-qualification for the loan on the house you're purchasing, yes.
Oh,
but the EMD is just an earnest money deposit, and that's typically in the state of California 3% of the purchase price.
So you put a 3% of the purchase price down, regardless of if you have already pre-qualified for the home or not.
Not necessarily. So usually before you even write an offer, you want to be pre-qualified for a house. Otherwise, you will not get your offer accepted.
Yeah. But Michelle, were you pre-qualified for a house when you submitted your EMD?
Nope.
Really?
EMT.
In
EMD.
Texas, I don't know. Texas are a little bit different. I was actually trying to see if I can pull up that percentage, but they just kind of told me it was a new construction. Okay. So I pulled up that whole day I spent looking at houses because this was early in the morning. So I went to that same day because there's so much new construction and they got like model homes and
they have a lot of new construction in El Paso.
And then the builders, like the companies that were building, they basically have the model home and then they have a realtor representing to sell the home.
Correct.
And I looked at like maybe about 5 different houses in 5 different areas, and the last one, I walked in and I found the house after looking at maybe about 5-6 houses in one day. And that's when I was like, this is it. Yeah. And then basically they're like, do you have a realtor? I'm like, well, I just met somebody this morning. Yeah, we do.
Hell yeah. Joe. Call Joe. That motherfucker know. All right.
And we called him and he was like, oh my God. Like he was in shock. I don't think he was probably expecting that, but sure enough, we purchased our first home and we got into it and boom, there it is. Now that was Texas. So coming back to California and on my way to purchase my second home, it was a little bit different because I knew that laws were different.
A little different, yeah.
Exactly. And I was just kind of like, okay, Christian knew you already. And I was like, okay, so Christian knows him. So
there's like rapport built. So there's some trust. Yeah.
Yep. Rapport is already built.
This guy.
And, I didn't want to be like close-minded per se. I didn't want to be close-minded. I didn't want to be like, okay, well, Christian and I are both buying this house together, which means I have to also respect his wishes. And he's like, please just like, come meet with this guy. Like you have to meet him. And he would like to meet us. And we even arranged to meet you or to meet with him at Golden State
Cider.
In the Barlow. Because you love ciders.
Hell yeah.
And, I met him and he was amazing. He was like, we discussed earlier, raw basically. And yeah, so it made our process so simple from start to finish. And you have a way to you, if I might just say, like you have a way to you to just put you at ease, and
calm your nerves and anxiety down.
Yeah.
50% of that is being a good salesman. I think the other 50% of that is just being confident in what I'm advising you guys. Trusting myself, trusting my expertise, trusting my experience in the real estate industry, and just my ability to do my job.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so bringing it back to Michelle, that was an incredible story. I did not know any of that. So I'm fucking listening to that first now. You did it. We did it, Joe. I'm fucking Kamala right now.
And you know what? After that, he told us, and I think what he did, like you said, it was confidence. And he also knew, like, he was like, hey, well, besides being a realtor, I'm actually a contractor. So I'm going to be able to inspect your house to a deeper level. So we were like, hey, we want to use Joe because he's going to be able to come in and, whatever. And that is what, it was with you.
That's smart.
You made me feel like safe, if that makes any sense. And I thought, okay, let's go with it.
It's funny you mentioned that because not to brag, but I do hear that a lot, and I think
that's good. Fucking brag away.
Yeah, no.
Hell yeah.
The fact that I have been a plumber and I have been in the construction industry,
that's right.
I know how a house is, not only how to sell it and the soil that it sits on, but I do understand and know how a house is built. I know what a med seal is. I know what a difference between having a sub area or having a slab foundation is, and I know what the difference between cedar siding is and T111 is. So whenever I mention some of this lingo to a lot of the buyers that are putting the boots on the ground with me,
shit.
they're like, holy shit, like, holy God, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Not just how to do his own sales skills, but he also knows how a house is built, what we need to look for. And I think that has definitely been a big advantage that I've had because, like you said, it puts a lot of my clients to ease. Not when I just mentioned about the money, not when I mentioned about what it takes to purchase a house, but also how a house is fucking built at the end of the day.
Period.
And what it takes.
Absolutely.
Poe, exactly. Who is that? That's your sister.
Denise.
That's right. I know who that is.
Denise came to
Period, Poe.
Period, Poe. Denise, you better fucking watch this episode, bitch, because we're shouting you out.
Period, Poe.
Shout out Denise and her fucking friend Chris.
Exactly.
I love you, Cece Boo. She's gonna cringe after I
love you, Cece Boo.
No, but I honestly, right here and now, I'll say it on record. I appreciate you saying that because it feels good to hear somebody say that. Because all that effort that I put into those other past careers and putting them off to jump into this and the investment it took and the risk it took just is icing on the cake for me.
I think that you ended up learning a life skill by having your work experience lead you to this point
I didn't even know it.
Real estate.
And I didn't even know it.
And you didn't even fucking know it. That's
it.
amazing.
Until you
that
said
is
it.
So amazing.
Until you acknowledge it, or both of you.
One really, really brief example has nothing to fucking do with real estate, but when I was learning how to mix and bake, completely out of my fucking scope of career, someone came up to me, he's like, you're learning a life skill right now. Right. And I realized, I was like, shit, I know how to mix and bake bread. Like, that's a fucking life skill. And it's something I'm going to take forever. And the same thing with you, being a plumber, your work experience, everything you did in your past, it led you to this point of building these life skills that were going to make you a better realtor.
And I didn't even know it.
So my question to you now is, at the very basic level, I am someone who wants to purchase a home. What are, you could say, the five main things, or like four,
or do you have some do you have a number of fundamentals?
¿Cuáles son los las cosas fundamentales que se necesitan? And you're going to speak in English. I'll translate semi here and there to our Spanish speaking folks because we want to inform the Latinx community about
get educated
and educate the Latinx community about the things that you need fucking locally here in Sonoma County on how and what you need to purchase.
I think it could be also pretty much for the state, right?
Yeah, right.
I think so.
They're mainly state laws. Okay, great.
Totally.
Wonderful.
Perfect. So I think in a broad sense in California only, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics, which is going to be financials.
Okay.
So for financials, at minimum, let's say you're looking at a property that is $500,000. Any property you need to have minimally at least 3% down, 3% of the property. And how you do that math is if it's $500,000 property, it's 500,000 times 0.03. That's 3%. If you do that right now, so type in 500,000
times 0.03.
Yeah, let's do it right now. Let's do it right here in real life.
500,000. 10% of that is 5,000 times 3 is 15,000, right? 30%?
I believe. Let's see.
500,000
times 0.03?
0.03. Let's see what it comes up with. It should come up with 15,000?
15,000. Es que soy una perra galla.
15,000? Is that it? There we go. There we go.
1,500.
So there's a great example.
$15,000. So necesitan 3% en una casa de $500,000.
Un mínimo.
Un mínimo de 3% que son $15,000.
Right.
Si estamos hablando de una casa que es como $500,000.
Más o menos.
Más o
Sí.
menos.
And
3%. Okay.
And
wonderful.
This is based off of what's called an FHA loan. That's the most popular loan in
First
California.
home buyer. It's
a government funded loan essentially, and
Okay.
you only need up to 3% for that loan.
Okay.
But I can't have this on record. You would need to check with a loan or a lender professional.
Okay.
But it also, you do need at least a minimum of, I believe, 680 for your credit score as well.
Okay, so your credit score minimum, your goal, your preliminary, hypothetically, your preliminary goal is to have a 680 credit score at 3% first home buyer. And I think right now we want to target first home buyers.
Sure.
We don't need to target investors or anything like that.
We're targeting first home buyers.
So let's focus on first home buyers and educating the public on what it is exactly that you need to buy a home, because I didn't know this until my sister and I started getting into real estate. We actually started taking a course. I was full-time at Davis, didn't finish it. She did. So we always have these conversations about what it is that you need. So it's awesome that you're here so we can have this on record.
Of course.
And then maybe next episode we can talk about like credit score and how to do that.
A little deeper into
absolutely.
it. For sure.
I think we could do a 2-part to this because this is a lot.
It's a lot of information. Yes, there's a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different loans, a lot of different programs out there.
Yeah,
even government programs.
Let's target first home.
I would say
buyers.
First time.
Like me, someone like me.
For some, So in a broad sense. I would say figure for whatever your price point is, whether you're looking at a condo, which in Sonoma County, let's be honest, is about between $280,000 and $300,000 for a decent condo. Okay. If you're going for a median, single family residential home, it's somewhere along the lines of between $500,000 and maybe $880,000 right now.
So single family homes right now in Sonoma County are averaging between $500,000 to $880,000.
And actually, I need to correct myself because I just remembered we got an email 2 days ago, and the median just keeps going up and up in the market that we're in. So
the market that we're in Sonoma County is a little bit different than other markets, not necessarily because of something specific with the economy, but because of the housing shortage that we've recently had since the 2017 fires that wiped out 5,000 homes, the 2019 fires that wiped out more homes, and we're waiting on the next fucking fires that are going to happen. 2020, did we have fires? Yeah, Vacaville. Yeah. So all of the Sonoma Valley area over there, Napa area, wiped out homes. Right. So the market's going up and up because of our fire climate, right? So in Sonoma County, we have a higher rate, I believe. I mean, we're not comparing ourselves to fucking Orange County, but we're a higher rate because of this shortage. So supply and demand.
Correct. Yeah, totally. Supply and demand issue.
So en español, se quemaron muchas casas. Cuando no hay poquitas casas y hay mucha gente queriendo comprar, el precio de las casas suben. El valor de las casas suben, pero también hay muchísima gente that is leaving. Muchísima gente que se está yendo de Sonoma County. A lot of people lost their home. They fucking left. So that's also another thing you have to put into mind, supply and demand. But
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's one thing. But so that's the median right now.
Yeah, certainly is.
So you need 3%, 15,000 at 500,000 alone.
Yep.
Roughly a 680 credit score.
Yep, 680 credit score at the minimum.
At the minimum. Right? Because a car is like 620 and you can get a decent car, a used car, 620. So you want anything above a 700, 720, you're doing good. So
here's a good tip for everybody right here.
Credit. Let's talk about credit for a second. Yeah.
So a credit, and I can tell you firsthand from my experience, credit to a lender, if you're purchasing a home and trying to apply for a loan for a home, your credit is basically your grade if you're in elementary or middle school or high school or college. Okay. That's your grade on how you manage your money.
Okay. That is insane because
right?
I used to say, hey, think about it. I'm a banker at a bank, and it's funny you say that, but I always use that particular example.
Well, because it's true.
It is.
It's
I'm
absolutely
think
true.
about it. You're in school, y tu calificación de acrediticia, your credit score, it's kind of like your grade when you're in school.
How you manage money.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
100%.
Let's talk about credit length, right? Because we have un historial de crédito. It has to do with length of credit and then your credit score. How good are you at repaying back your credit cards?
Right.
We're not going to get into the basics of credit. We can do that in another episode for the Latinx community. But I think right now, how much does length of credit matter? Because someone like my sister, I've had credit since I was 18 years old. I worked at Citibank, thanks to Michelle and Jesus, of course. But thanks to Michelle, I worked at Citibank, started building my credit. And so I've had a credit history since 18. I'm going to be 25 this year.
Gotcha.
So Someone like my little sister who's 21 doesn't necessarily have credit because she's been in school all of this time.
Correct.
How would that work if she has a shorter credit history than I do? Like
It's
credit.
a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. If hopefully I'm not incorrect on this, but according to lenders, as long as you have a score, they don't really look at the length of your credit history.
Okay.
Per se, they just look at the score. That's all they want to know. They get down to brass tacks on what your score is.
Michelle.
Go ahead.
No. I want you to finish. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's not so much the length of it. It's what your score is currently right then and there when you're applying for that loan.
Okay.
And again, the score of your credit is like your grade on how you manage money. Do you are you and your partner making a great income, but yet you have $1,000 worth of debt on vehicles? That at the end of the day is, the saying goes, never invest in anything that rusts, rots, or depreciates, right?
Period, Poe.
Exactly.
Dennis, if you don't watch this episode,
yeah,
I'm going to be mad.
Me too. So I would say it's not so much the length of the history per se. It's more or less what your score is and how you've managed it.
So con tal, Michelle, please continue.
Yes.
Please.
Actually,
please.
since we're on this topic, I actually want to point this out.
Yeah.
The age of your credit is already implemented in your credit score.
No fucking way, bro.
That is correct.
So
I never fucking knew
this
that.
This is perfect because she knows a lot of the stuff that I don't know.
She's in the banking industry.
Yeah.
She has been in the banking industry since fucking 18?
So yes,
for a long time,
that's
bro.
why this is perfect.
And so he's been in the real estate industry, and I've been in the.
And I'm actually trying to show this picture, but basically I save this on my phone because I like to showcase it to some of my customers when I like to educate them.
What is it?
Let me read it.
So
Credit score 35%.
the microphone.
Read that aloud. Let me hear it.
I'm so sorry. Credit score 35% on-time payments, 30% credit utilization. I'm really fucking good at that one. I got 90 out of 90 on that one. 15% age of credit. So it's not that, and 10% types of credit.
Yeah.
Types of credit. Talk about types of credit.
Yeah,
sorry. One last one. 10% hard inquiries.
And
so
the reason why that one is highlighted in yellow, because a lot of the times people try to think about so in a nutshell, everybody thinks that running your credit is bad, but that's actually only 10% of your credit. Age of your credit is actually an average. So from your oldest credit card to your most recent. So it's not since you started credit since you were 18. No, it's like an average of your credit. But anyways, I don't want to get too sidetracked.
I think we can focus a whole episode on credit.
Yes,
Credit.
I agree.
But,
that's a big thing.
So he just said, historial de crédito no es un gran... no es la gran caca, pues, para hacerlo muy, muy pinche al grano. El historial de crédito no importa necesariamente, más que importa el credit score. Lo que es la numeración de crédito. ¿Tiene buen crédito o no tiene buen crédito? No tiene que tener 20 años con crédito because they're trying to sell a fucking home. And I mean, you're at 18
because
to
what
25.
is it that you have 20 years of history if you have a 500 versus if you have only 3 years and you have a
800.
My
brother has the fucking best. My older brother.
Yeah.
But okay, so you need 3% down, 680 credit score, and then what else?
What else is you also need to factor in for what's called closing costs. That can highly factor on the purchase price, but just to be safe and conservative, so to speak, try to plan for
10,000?
an extra between 6,000 and 8,000.
So 6,000 to 8,000 minimum. 10,000
exactly.
if you're going good.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you roll those over into your loan?
What's that?
For example, your closing costs. So let's say you're purchasing a $500,000.
Great question. Yes, you can. If you have the 3% down for the down payment, but let's say that you maybe don't have the extra $6,000 to $8,000 for the closing costs. Yes, and the way to do that is by requesting what's called a seller credit. So let's say this house that we're sending in is listed at $500,000, right?
Okay. Yes.
And let's say my buyer has the 3% down and they have the loan approval for that, but they don't have the closing cost. So if I was the buyer if I was the buyer agent representing the buyer's offer on this property at $500,000, basically what I would do is I would write the offer. at 3% down, but I would also factor in an extra $6,000 to $8,000 on top of that and request what's called a seller credit at close of escrow. So basically, you're going to get an offer that's over asking.
Okay.
It may look handsome and pretty to you, but in reality, you're going to give me, or my client rather, $6,000 or $8,000 at close of escrow.
And that is called seller.
That's called a seller credit. Yeah, that is a big thing. Not a lot of buyers know about that, but yes, that is a big thing right there. What I just said. Go ahead. Recap a little here.
Para los que no entendieron eso, lo que dijo en inglés, se los voy a decir en español. Lo que es un closing cost es el costo para cerrar el trato, ¿verdad?
Sí, los costos de cierre.
Los costos
That's
de
to
cierre.
pay the lenders and get your appraisal and all that kind of
y
stuff.
Y todo el appraisal,
yes.
Los lenders y todo. Si usted nomás tiene los $15,000, que es el 3% en una casa de $500,000, entonces no necesariamente se acaba ahí, ¿verdad? Puede pedir lo que se llama un seller's credit, que le pueden dar ese $6,000 a $8,000. It could be $10,000, depending on
lo puede contribuir al préstamo.
Lo puede contribuir al préstamo y eso todo depende de when you're writing the
offer. Correct.
Cuando él es la persona que escribe la oferta.
Cuando se está presentando la oferta a la persona que está vendiendo la casa.
Cuando se está presentando la oferta se está presentando como que somos chingones, calificamos, véndanos la casa, por favor.
Ya la hicimos.
Ya chingamos.
Cuando te dicen...
¿Cómo dijo la cubana?
¿Cómo dice? Ay, ya se me olvidó.
¡No mames, güey!
Baila como Juana la cubana.
Yo puedo, sí, lo merezco. Lo merezco, sí.
Ellos lo merecen, sí, lo merecen. Ey.
Yo puedo,
sí, lo merezco.
Hold on.
Bitch, play it again. Shit. Yo puedo, sí, lo merezco.
Sí, tengo la personalidad. Tengo la personalidad.
Me la merezco. Okay, there it is. Tiene la personalidad.
Hoy amanecimos.
Rica, sabrosa. Ustedes son los clientes y tienen la personalidad para comprar una pinche casa con este camarada aquí.
Cuando vayan a comprar una casa, así lo quiero.
Ahí está.
La tengo.
Pay attention, everybody. We're giving you guys the secrets here. Stay tuned.
Tengo la personalidad.
Sí,
Me lo merezco.
tengo la personalidad. Tengo la personalidad.
Me lo merezco.
Así como ella.
¡Me siento rica!
¡Ay, me siento rica! Se tienen que sentir ricos cuando están comprando una casa. Aunque sean pobres, porque yo también lo soy.
No, pero la neta, le estamos
verdad,
enseñando todo esto porque you can do it.
You
Yes.
can
It is
do
very
it.
much
Hell
a
yeah.
possibility.
You don't need $50,000. You need whatever your purchase price is. You need 3%. If you can factor in $6,000 to $8,000 for the closing costs, great. If you can't, there's ways around it. You just
Perfect.
need to
Seller's
ask.
credit.
Yes.
Okay,
seller's
so
credit.
that seller's credit, how does a seller's credit, to get really raw and in-depth,
Sure.
how does a seller's credit affect the earnings of a lender and a realtor and all of that? Does that does that matter or
not really? So the earnings of a lender and a realtor,
I mean, like the wins or like the commission or
if I'll be honest, the higher and this has nothing to do with having a buyer write an offer. I'll just say it this way. This statement has nothing to do with a buyer writing an higher offer to get their seller credits. But yes, the higher the price point, the higher the commissions for both realtors, whether on the seller and
so
the
the
purchase.
way that you write the offer letter matters.
Correct.
Because a seller's credit, you could still make money off writing a seller's credit,
Of course.
if you write it in the right way.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
To all my English teachers out there, let me tell y'all something. If you don't have tenure at your college,
Es que se va a hacer lawyer, es por eso.
to all
Yes.
my English teachers out there, you can make some fucking money doing real estate.
There
Okay?
we go. Yeah. So yeah, and getting down to brass tacks. To understand what you really need, yes, you need to have a credit score 680 minimum or above.
680 minimum. 3% off of like 500,000.
Whatever. If you're
3%
looking
down.
for a condo, then it's still 3%.
3%,
Yeah.
680 minimum. You always want to shoot a little bit higher.
Of course. And-
Siempre quieren tener poquito. 680,
Yes.
yo tengo 720. That's great. 3%, 15,000. entre todos un pinche potluck, ahorita nos aventamos y conseguimos los 15,000. And then a seller's credit, si no tienen los 6 a 8,000, you could get a seller's credit. If you do have them.
Yeah, and let's even go a step further. Let's say you do have the 3% down. Let's say you do have that extra $6 or $8,000 to get the deal closed and to pay to cover the closing costs.
Let's say you have like what 20 grand? Oh no, 30 grand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
let's say we find a house and it needs a lot of work. You can still do what's called a seller credit. So if there's $8,000 worth of work that needs to be done on an FHA loan, which is, again, the most popular government-funded first-time homeowner loan, you can request up to 3% of the purchase price in what's called seller credits. So if the property is $500,000, you can request up to 3% of whatever that purchase price is.
$15,000
on an FHA loan, yes, towards your closing costs, or if you want to use that just as
because you have to fix the house.
correct, yeah. So that'll go towards your closing costs on paper, but in reality, if you have things you need to get done, whether it's siding, if you have to replace a water heater or whatever it is. Then
you fucking need to paint the house for cheap. You call me.
What you do is you negotiate for that up to 3% for that seller cost to get you covered for your new home and cover whatever is needed to be repaired for you to go in there. And then that's when you call Tita and she'll give you a deal and get the work done.
I will fucking do it.
That's how you do it.
If you're my friend, I will do it.
That's how you
do it. If I
do
love you, I will do it.
Suculentas.
Yeah.
Y ella decora con suculentas. Y mi hermanito, now that we're promoting our family right now, my brother just got his contractor's license. So you can call my brother, Ricardo Membrilla, Membrilla Construction, Membrilla Towing. Call us too. We'll link in bio. And just fucking with it. I don't even know if we have a link in bio. And my little brother is about to graduate SF State with interior design. So,
hey, you got a realtor.
There you go.
You got your interior design. You got a banker.
Got the whole 9 yards.
I got the lawyer. When I'm thinking about law, I'm going to be going into law school. I'm really heavily considering like 70% real estate law because there's always going to be cases in real estate. There's always houses are always going to be selling, and cases are always going to be coming up in real estate. That or immigration. But I think it's just...
I think you should.
I have a family dynamic where it comes to like, my brother's a contractor, interior designer. My dad does construction. I have a banking person right here, realtor. My sister's also a realtor. My oldest sister is a realtor. So we have like the whole family package, which is really amazing.
Yeah, you're in a great position there because even at that point, and the cool thing is, and if we're getting down to brass tacks,
really,
you could certainly negotiate for all of that stuff and get that seller credit to cover a lot of the maintenance or whatever repairs need to be involved in order for you to move into that property. But one thing I tell a lot of my clients is if you know somebody that's in the industry, whether it's a family friend or just a friend, a lot of the costs can come down just with labor costs. So a lot of the costs that come to with with all the repairs, they're all inflated. All of these inspections that we get, they're all inflated based off of worst case scenario, meaning the most expensive contractor you can find, that's the most busiest, the most with after all the fires and COVID, a lot of the material costs are kind of going up. So all of
really
these,
bad,
So when you're purchasing a property and you get all of these inspections done, it's ridiculous. All of these prices are so inflated, but at the end of the day, if you're a buyer, you can obviously leverage those high numbers. And what I tell a lot of my clients, only buyers, is that you can also, if you have somebody in the industry that's, a family member or a family friend that can give you a deal on them.
Yeah.
The numbers that we get during escrow are absolutely worst case scenario. Absolutely worst case scenario. If you were to hire the most expensive contractor, buying the most expensive material cost at Home Depot or so on and so forth.
I have a question for you now, and Michelle too. You can attest to this too. Based on our community in California, what is a possibility? This is just you rounding a number that a Latinx family trying to buy a home, first home buyer, is gonna have someone who works in the industry. Plumber, fucking painter, electrician. Like, come on.
I mean,
probably pretty high.
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
tu papá, güey.
Yo sé.
Yeah, exactly.
Eso es bien pinche de volada. Yo tengo un compadre.
Hey, even if they don't have someone they know,
they will find someone.
They know how to do it themselves.
They'll find it
You know
out.
what I mean?
That's the advantage they have, or we have.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, lo que estaba diciendo él, llegando al grano, es que cuando hacen un presupuesto para lo que va a costar, para lo que va a ser el costo actual de las reparaciones de una casa, ustedes pueden usar ese porcentaje de las reparaciones para agarrar ese seller's credit, lo que les ayudan a dar más dinero para que ustedes puedan tener no tengan que pagar tanto al comprar la casa, ¿verdad? Pero lo que
I'm
estamos...
gonna pour my wife a shot here. Sorry,
Oh, what?
my wifey.
Oh my God.
Full or half?
Full.
Half.
Oh, half. She's getting dry.
Yeah, period, Poe. No, pero a lo que él está diciendo es que cuando hacen un presupuesto, van a hacer el presupuesto más alto para lo que cuesta pintar una casa, hacer el framing, arreglar el siding, arreglar el roofing. Pero yo lo que les decía a ellos es que la comunidad latina es fucking notorious. Somos chingones, más bien. Nomás para ponerlo bien pinche claro, somos chingones.
In a nutshell.
Y si no lo
Long
sabemos
story
hacer,
short.
para llegar al pinche grano del maíz, si no lo sabemos hacer, aprendemos a hacerlo, papá.
Sí.
O sea,
la verdad.
los pinches inmigrantes que llegaron aquí no llegaron sabiendo cocinar. Pero ahí están los güeyes cocinando.
No,
el
las
pinche...
mujeres sí.
Las mujeres tal vez, pero los hombres ahí están cocinando en los restaurantes.
That is
Los
true.
dishwashers están manejando las pinches maquinaria grande. Los mecánicos están en los pinches talleres. Aprendimos, papá. Y lo que quiero llegar, sí se puede, mijo.
Sí,
Sí se
y más
puede,
aparte
mijo.
que la mera verdad, hay algo que gente que a lo mejor no tiene papeles, pero sí tienen ITIN, pueden establecer una calificación acrediticia with your I-10.
Ajá.
And there's specialized people that will do a loan for people who have an I-10.
Correct.
So that's a very in-depth, absolutely, 100%. Tenemos que hablar de las personas indocumentadas que sienten que no califican para comprar casa. Sí se puede. Se puede comprar una pinche casa. Sí se puede. Como dijo el camarada.
And if I may add, there are banks, like for example, some of the ones that the larger banks that I've worked at before, they won't do loans for if you're not a U.S. citizen and if you're not a resident. However, there are outside lenders that will do
Hard money lenders?
no. They it's just lenders. Like
Lenders in general. Okay.
Lenders in general.
Okay.
They will do loans for people who, like, for example, like all the DACA recipients, since, you know, going back to our first episode.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
DACA recipients, they actually have a social security number, but because they're not U.S. citizens or they're not residents, and because I was in those shoes at some point, I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to ever buy a house because in order for you to get a loan, you have to be a U.S. citizen or you have to be a resident. And I was neither, even though I had a social. That is wrong. You can still purchase a home.
Any DACA person watching us right now, you can buy a home.
Yep.
Y si no, mi hermano tiene papeles.
Se casan.
Yo tengo papeles y mi hermano tiene papeles. So, that's that.
Yeah. Si
Period,
no te casas
pal.
con alguien que no tiene papeles y tú, pues, you're an independent person, you can do it. And even if
You
you
can.
don't have that guy, and si no tiene papeles, if you don't have a legal
With your-
citizenship, you can still go and get an I-10. And then with your I-10, you can establish credit. And then with your if you're wondering how, then of course that would be a whole different story. Maybe we can touch on that next podcast.
I think we should totally touch on that next
And
episode.
once
for
you
sure.
get once you establish credit with your I-10, then you also can get a loan. So it's not impossible.
No
impossible.
es imposible. Sí se puede, chingada madre.
If there's
Period,
if there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
Si hay las ganas, todo se puede. Con ganas y empeño y Diosito, todo se puede.
Salute to
Saludcita.
that. Salute to that right there. 100%.
Salucita.
Okay, so now bringing it back. Let's summarize. Sorry, I drink really fast. Let's summarize everything that we just said right now.
Yep.
We need a credit score.
You
680.
need a credit score.
3% down.
Yep. And
Closing costs.
in a perfect world, yes, you need to factor in another $6 to $8 grand for closing costs.
Closing costs.
And
okay.
if you don't have it,
Seller's credit.
You reach out to me or you reach out to Michelle. She knows how to get to me, and then I will talk to you to get a seller credit and further educate you on what your options are. But yes, seller credits are a big thing, and not a lot of buyers know about it.
We'll link all his information as well.
Fuck yeah, we
There we
will.
go. There we go.
Hell
yeah. If there's a will, there's a way. You just gotta be persistent and just ask the right questions.
I think a lot of it is fear and lack of confidence in themselves, and it's because of the lack of education. So it's a fucking domino effect que nos chinga. No sé, no califico, yo no puedo, yo no pudiera. So no solo es falta de confidence, it's just the lack of education, with the lack of resources.
Before we actually get into any deeper into all of those, what are some of the actual like paper curriculum? Okay, so we said the 3% down.
What's missing? What's missing from that? Yeah.
What's missing besides the 3% and the factoring of the closing costs?
Yeah.
For a buyer in the state of California, nothing really. Just your love for a house. Your love for a house, and your want to, your want to make an investment and just trust the process and trust your realtor at the end of the day.
So then, in reality, what is stopping? Like, what are you? Okay, you from a realtor perspective, just in general, not just the Latin community, but just in general. What is it that you think that is a major, big time stopper as far as people think or they hesitate? Like, what is the number one, or maybe list a couple of excuses that people think that, oh, this is the reason why I cannot?
So the first thing would be lack of education. That's the biggest one, because the most popular answer I get or pushback I get is you need minimum of 40 grand or 30 grand or something just ridiculous. And the other thing is just you need to be ready. You and your partner and your time of life. One very popular question I get, especially in the market that we're in today, is why would I buy a house if this is at the top? And my answer to that is,
what do you mean at the top?
At the top of the market, like
what do you mean at the top?
So but by top I mean like things are going over asking left and right, multiple offers. The median,
the market is high.
Yeah, the median.
Okay, the market is high. Why would I buy when the market is high?
Exactly.
Being a first home buyer that can't afford.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's
the why.
Right. So besides the foundation, meaning like what we just discussed, like you're 3% down and you're factoring for closing costs and your credit score. Besides that, you need to be at a point in time in your life, whether it's by yourself as a single person or with your partner, and if you're getting ready to start a family and you have a baby on the way and you have the money, you have the credit score at that point in time to make that transition happen, then that's the best time for you. Who am I to tell you when's the best time to purchase a house?
It's when you want to buy.
It all depends on your goal. And so a popular question I get is, well, why would you recommend me to buy a house if this is the peak of the market? Why would you recommend that? Well, if you're ready, do you plan to sell your house in 3 years? No. Okay. Do you plan to start a family and live in there and maybe sell in 10 years from now when your property appreciates and you've made a few payments and you have what's called equity? Yes, that's the time, but it highly depends on your situation with your family.
Yes.
If you guys are ready, you guys have the money to purchase real estate in California, do it. If that's the point in time where you guys are ready, you have all the check boxes marked, but also factor in where you're going to be in the next 5 years.
Yes.
That's the biggest question.
Essentially, that's what it is.
It's simple. It's easier said than done. Are
Freddie?
You ready? Do you have everything you need? Yes. Do you plan to sell in 3 years? If right now, then I would recommend no.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to make a commission and make a sale, I'm not going to tell you to do that if that's honestly what your goal is.
That's what I love about this guy.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors. Yes.
If it's not in your interest, don't fucking do it, bro.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's that simple.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, but I'm nervous and it feels weird." But you know what? And when people say that, and not to sound like a salesman, but I'll be honest with you, nothing great comes easy. And if it's something that's worrying you,
so you can say that
if you're sweating a little bit and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm exposing myself. This is a lot of money." I hate to say it, but that's usually the right route to go. Nothing great comes easy.
Can you say that again?
Nothing great comes easy. Not even Tita. It takes a lot.
La bomba.
Yes.
La soltó.
Ahí está.
To anybody that didn't know that, nothing great comes easy. Not even Tita.
Not even Tita. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's our new fucking logo. No, pues wow, nothing great comes easy. Not even.
Not even Tita. Yeah, exactly. That'll be able to.
I love that. No, but I'm saying that because I feel like there's a lot of people that there's a lot of pressures, right?
Sure.
But there's a lot of people that just don't have it. Like, oh my God, it's a big step. Yeah, motherfucker, grow up. Are you fucking ready to take that step to own a home, be a homeowner, get your big boy pants on, your big girl pants on? And that's one thing that I feel like the Latinx community doesn't necessarily have, depending on the circumstance of the family, right?
Right.
So socioeconomic level matters. Education within the household matters. Within the household, right? We have 5 kids in my household, not kids, grown fucking people that are educated, getting their education. But regardless of our education, our parents always pushed us to be our own people, business owners. Don't ever fucking work for anybody else but yourself. And that came from our grandpa. So it's a generational thing. And I feel like not everybody has it. So if you ever feel doubt, I think it's a moment for you to sit back and analyze your surroundings. Michelle, we touched on this last time of why you moved and your why, because you were in so much fear of falling into the place where you were at that you did not want to be in. And so if you're going to be a first-time buyer, it's possible. We've given you a rundown. We've given you a rundown of everything that's possible to be a home buyer, but I genuinely feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to your goals, your vision, your dream, and your aspirations.
It really depends on like your situation, right? And like where you're at in your life.
Yeah.
Your aspirations, where you stand. Because there is okay, let me tell you this, and maybe you can correct me. Okay. Market is high, rates are low. Market is low, rates are high.
Yep.
But if you lock in a low fucking rate, let me tell you something. You're paying for a home. You're paying for your home. You're not paying the bank a higher rate. So
you get a discount.
You
don't realize it at first, but.
And it does not ever mean that you cannot refinance.
Yes.
Period.
Bring your late
refi.
Period. And especially if you have equity, which I think we should save all of this for our part 2, because I don't know how the fuck we thought we could unpack all of the shit in one episode.
Wait, so I'm going to be invited again for a part 2?
Shit.
Oh my God.
El esposo de la Tita.
No!
Se va a volver a invitar.
That's a fucking totally inside joke.
It is.
You had to be there to get it.
It's not.
It's I don't have a fucking ring, but it's an inside joke.
I gotta find. That's the purpose of this. I gotta find another house to sell so I can buy you your big ring.
Oh
my God!
You hit up Chris so that you can go and purchase your home,
so I can get a bigger ring.
He can sell a lot of houses, and she can have a big diamond ring.
I don't care about a ring.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Oh,
I don't care about a ring. I care about a fucking property. I want land, motherfucker. Land.
Well, that's easy. The cool thing for me is being that I'm a licensed California real estate agent is I'll get paid to do my own deal. So we're good. Don't worry.
He's like, I got you, boo boo.
We went to Hooters.
I got you. Period, boo.
Period, po.
Period, po.
Period, po.
We went to Hooters, and the manager looked at us. He's like,
last week, yeah.
He was like, you want to work here? I was like, I got a full-time job. He's like, your man is not a full-time job. And I was like, my husband, you mean?
Yeah.
That's the inside joke.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So, of course, fucking me. I'm fucking wild, but
Yeah, he said that. I started just eyeballing him as soon as he said that.
It's like, what the fuck?
No, but on the real though,
we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you, guys.
I didn't know 90% of what you were telling me.
Really?
Well, my sister probably told me, but I have ADHD.
No, it's funny.
Per last episode.
No, I hope this. I honestly, truly, genuinely hope this gets out to people who actually need it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of our followers, a lot of our viewers, definitely are not. I would say they're younger, they're our age, they're our family, they're our friends. So if you don't think it's possible, it's fucking possible. You just have to have the will to make it possible for yourself.
Correct.
So we are very excited to have you on the spot.
Maybe you guys can tell us. Maybe you can share with us
if you have any questions.
Yeah. What specific questions you want? I can come back or we can come back rather and answer them all for you guys.
Absolutely. And
100%. I think one of the biggest things would be like the benefit long term of owning a home is equity, right?
Yeah.
Equity is critical, and a lot of our Latinx community, they don't have a fundamental understanding of what equity is.
Yeah. 100%.
They work hard, they come, they make the American dream, they buy a fucking Mercedes, they buy a Tesla, they buy this, they buy that, they have a truck. It's great, but it's better to have equity in property.
That's the thing. And I hate to say it, but and a lot of the buyers that I've come across that have not been pre-approved or got pre-approved with something that's a lot less than what they expected is all because of what you just said. It's all a status symbol bullshit at the end of the day. It's just cars, big cars, and just,
what is it that actually matters to you and your family, your goals, your dreams, and your vision?
Right, and it's
period, Poe.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's one of the things I actually love about this industry is I get to learn from other people's, pardon my French, but fuck ups. I get to learn how somebody goes to apply for a loan and they see a number that they weren't expecting because they have over $1,000 worth of car payments. They have a brand new Jeep Cherokee fresh off the lot.
Yeah. The Trackhawk.
They have a brand
Christian. I'm talking to you, honey. What
Trackhawk?
Just kidding.
No, and I won't mention.
He doesn't have a Trackhawk.
What?
I won't mention any names, but I did come across a couple 2 years ago. Lived with their parents. Were trying to save for a house, but they had a lot of debt, and they had a brand new Jeep Cherokee fresh off the lot. That was the wife's car. The husband's car, I believe he had some kind of Chevy plug-in Volt or some or the other. Anyways, long story short, they're all of their debt combined just on cars, factoring, and they were both brand new. So you're factoring what? Full coverage insurance for both cars.
Yep.
Was over $1,000, and that's the biggest thing is your debt and what you choose, and all that stuff comes to haunt you when it comes to buying something that's eventually going to give you what's called an ROI. What that means is
return on investment.
Thank you. That's the biggest thing.
She fucking knew that.
Mind this right here, right now.
Period,
if you buy a car, you're not going to get what's called a return on your investment unless you're buying a classic Chevy Bel Air or a GTR or something along that nature.
Why are you shooting shots right
or
now?
Or a Jeep Wrangler.
You know what I mean?
Or a Jeep Wrangler. Or a Chevy fucking Silverado.
That's the thing.
No, you're not. You're not going to get a return on that.
It almost hurts my heart. It's like, you guys, sure, both. You guys both make great money. You have great credit. Unfortunately, you have a shitload of debt, and your credit score has gone down. Why? Because what is your credit score again? You're
below 680.
It is the grade of how you manage your money. And if you have more than $1,000 worth of just cars that again rots and depreciates over time, what do you think that lender's going to say to you?
No, nothing.
So you're telling me right now, essentially,
do
what
not
you're
get
saying,
a brand new Jeep Cherokee or anything that is going to.
So you're telling me that you're going to pay my fucking brand new Chevy Silverado
as long as you get me another
cash.
deal, as long as you keep passing those referrals, 100%, baby.
Woo! Ya dijo el güey. He's on camera.
That is the biggest thing.
Ya dijo el güey.
And it's like, I understand. Everybody needs a car. Everybody needs to get from A to B.
We're pregnant. I can't do that.
Oh, damn. I'm drinking by myself here? No. Oh, okay. Oh, Michelle's joining me. Okay, good.
Cheers.
I don't know what happened to my
First trimester doesn't matter according to the science. But I am very, very, very.
Does that make sense though? Is that fair?
Yes.
Without being too harsh.
Fair.
Like, just watch. Just wait.
That's the point of being raw.
Watch,
motherfucker. Get it.
Exactly.
Get to the point.
Don't
that's
get the
what
brand new car. Shut the hell up. Put your ego aside and get the used one.
I want a 1989 Toyota Camry. It's a little commuter. Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
Because when I get my truck.
Otra vez.
Otra vez. Salud, Tita. Woo. We're so excited to have you.
I'm out of my chaser.
Oh, Jesus. Vámonos.
I gotta look tough. Nope, I'm gonna look tough in front of my wifey. I'll need it. I'm good.
Oh, I just poured some.
Okay, I'll have a little bit.
Come on.
Un poquito.
Did you guys notice how I don't need a chaser? Shh. Period, Poe.
She likes to brag. She likes to get above me. This happens every night.
No.
Don't pay any attention. Don't pay no mind, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
But
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's my biggest thing, and I'll leave that conversation.
You gotta
at
play
that.
our girl for the closing of this episode, but hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Mind
So-
your finances, mind your debt, and yeah, just have as much as you can in your bank account. Have the highest credit score, and the way to do that is
That you can. Right?
And,
so, I mean, don't go shoot. You like, I don't have a 850. I can't fucking do it. Shoot for the highest that you can with what you have.
Exactly.
Make the best of what you have. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's it.
And if you have the discipline, steer away from that brand new car. That's the best advice I can give everybody.
You're shooting a fucking
cars.
Hold on. But I'm not looking to buy a house. That's what I have.
Then what am I doing here? I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'm not looking to buy a house. A house is going to be bought for me.
Yes.
Pal.
Yes.
Right? The fuck do I have you for?
Exactamente. Yep.
I'm just kidding. We're getting too rowdy. Over here.
She's getting too comfortable.
We are. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Did I offend you?
I did not. It's okay. You'll make it up to me later. I'll make sure of it. I Just mind your P's and Q's, and just mind your finances.
Yeah, you guys don't need a fucking brand new
don't
Chevy
need a
Silverado
brand new
Duramax
car.
3.0 diesel.
And the biggest
What the fuck do you need that for?
And you know what the biggest thing is and I use this analogy in almost all of my transactions. Okay, and it's taking what's called a step back. Everybody lives like, if you're purchasing a house or if you're purchasing a car, you're in what's called this bubble. You're in the now. You don't realize 10 years from now. It's easier to see what's going on because it's so loud and right here in front of you, right? It's easier said than done, but nobody realizes, and this is the part where people go wrong, is they don't realize, okay, what is this payment or this purchase of the car or this house is gonna land me in 5 or 10 years from now. Everybody focuses on what's right now. Oh, this is gonna cost me $20,000. This is my entire savings or whatever. But they don't realize and they don't factor in what's called inflation. When our parents, how much did your mom and dad buy your house?
My mom and dad bought our house for $300,000. It was our ranch in Cotati, and then it went up to, we ended up owing $700,000 on the property in 2008. Lost the property, but he built our home
in Grayton
for $250,000. The cost of build in 2005.
Okay, so how much do you think that house is worth now?
It was actually, hold on. It was actually in 2007.
Okay.
He lost it in 2007. So
he lost it in 2008.
So in 2005, he built a greenhouse in Grayton, my dad.
Okay.
He built, which is worth a lot right now.
Okay.
Built the second house in 2007. You're right. 2008. He lost everything except our Grayton home, which now is worth $1.2 million.
And that's all
The cost of building was like around 250. But that has to factor in. It wasn't like a fucking fully you have rights type of contractor. It was like, okay, un compadre sabe hacer esto, mi tío Rafa sabe hacer esto.
Yeah.
Ricky, my older brother, my older brother was like 14 years old at the time. Now he's 27. 14 or 15. Now he's 27. He was working there. He was paid semi. So like it was the Latinx type of build. That's why it was $250.
Sure.
Now with material costs.
Oh, it's gone skyrocketed.
But the price of that house in 10 years is going to go up.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the 5 or 10 year plan that nobody ever factors in because they're so hell bent on what's going on right now. And that's the hard. Believe me, don't get me wrong. It's easier said than done. Obviously, that's your money going up front, not mine. I'm just your advisor, right? But yeah, that's the biggest part that I think people don't take in consideration is the future. They just look at what's in it for me right now.
And I think that I think we could totally unpack this episode 2 of this, but it's just not necessarily, I think it's that mentorship.
It's not how an investor thinks. It's not how an investor thinks.
No, we're talking first home buyers, people that are not of that investor perspective.
And they're not.
Yeah.
In reality, if you were to approach me right now, you're not an investor. You're just somebody who's aspirating to be an investor. Right.
And I think in the second episode, we can unpack the difficulty of being a first home buyer and having such a low down payment and then having a motherfucker from San Francisco cash. Drop the $500,000 fucking cash.
Exactly.
And you don't get the house.
Right.
So the amount of losses in sales that are happening to realtors like you and like first home buyers that are of a lower socioeconomic level because of these big fucking money investors coming in and just swooping into Sonoma County.
Right.
That's a big problem we can unpack. Who would have
sure.
thought a bitch like me knew all this shit? But let me tell you
No,
something.
you do. You know
I
your
know,
stuff.
Maria
It is
of all
true,
trades.
though.
Yeah. No,
Oh, yeah.
it is facts.
Oh yeah.
So, ¿cómo
yeah.
va la canción? ¿Cómo va la canción? Play it, bitch. Play it, bitch. Tócala, bebé. We're going to Cuba.
Buenas, buenas.
¿Cómo amanecimos?
Sabrosa, deliciosa, porque puedo, yo puedo, me lo merezco, sí, tengo la personalidad.
Like, share, and follow us if you fucking love this episode. I'm obsessed with the fact that we did this episode. Love it, love it, love it.
Lo que quiera. Hoy sí, qué rico, sabroso, delicioso, porque puedo, yo puedo, me lo merezco, sí,
puedes,
tengo la
Esperancita.
Tú puedes. Ustedes pueden
Sí
comprar casa
puedes.
si quieren. Sí se puede, chingada madre. Ya les dije. La raza siempre va a ser la pinche raza y ese es el orgullo que me cargo. Los pinches ovarios que me cargo y el orgullo. Vámonos. Hey, hey, hey. Please share, like, follow, promote us if you love us. Period. Poe, Denise, you better fucking be watching this episode.
Better be.
You are the underlying feature of this episode.
So I guess
Period,
what this
Poe.
And
means
Chris.
is that we have to have a part 2 now.
Yes. There we are.
Yes.
Part 2 coming at you. I love it. I can't wait.
Yes.
I hope for
And-
more. I
and
hope for more
actually,
questions. I hope for more questions from the followers.
Yes. And-
That's what I
Yes.
want to answer is who wants to
Yes.
know what. Bring it to me. I'll give it to you straight. These girls won't let me bring you anything less than that.
Yep.
Period, Poe.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Period.
Yep,
Poe.
absolutely. And we really want to thank you for being here. Text us, call us, message us, comment down below, wherever it is that you're listening to us. If you're listening to us on your drive from, to or work, send us a message.
Text us. Love us. Support
We're here.
us. We love you.
And don't forget 3%, 680 credit score, and have 707-623-2902 saved in your cell phone
62329
for anything else you need.
02, baby.
And this is Christopher Ortiz.
That is Christopher
with us.
Ortiz,
Christopher Ortiz.
Sonoma County. It's just a text away whenever you need me.
If you're listening to us, go to our YouTube channel. I will have his information.
all of the
linked.
information link,
It'll
everything
all be
below.
linked.
below.
It'll all be linked.
Love
there
you
we
guys.
go. Nothing great comes easy. Don't forget that.
Not even Tita.
Not even Tita. So get to it.
Love you guys. Bye.